Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. We're live tonight here, Charlotte Motor Speedway. That's right, famed Charlotte here. Well, the Coca-Cola 600s, what they run here in real life and all that, and the All-Star Racing. Well, tonight we're here live with the Sim500 Monday Night Money Winter Series here in the trucks. And boy, we got a big field again here, 37 of some bad, fast boys and some awesome monster trucks about to do some bad, fast things around Charlotte here. We're in the middle of qualifying right now. Well, Joe White up here in the booth. As always, company him here. Got Harrison up here with me. Harrison, how you doing?
I'm all right. Glad to join you tonight. How you doing, Joe?
Man, I'm doing good. I think we're going to see some awesome racing. Charlotte brings about it a unique style. We were just talking about it, the difference between this track and Texas. And even though the two tracks are almost supposed to be similar in a way, they drive totally different here. As you'll see throughout the race, these guys will be able to hammer it, probably stay side by side and nose to tail one another for about the first 10 to 12 laps. Then you're going to start seeing them spread out a little bit, get tight going into the turns. That's what we were talking about earlier.
Yeah. For some reason, like you were saying, Charlotte just tends to get much more tight than Texas does. And what's interesting is we're doing a lot of 1.5 mile tracks all in a row here. We had Vegas, Charlotte this week, Texas, and they all kind of have a different personality. So, really close lap time so far qualifying, and as the long run progresses, it'll be interesting to see how that all shakes out, because this can be notoriously hard to pass.
Yeah, absolutely, and definitely, no fast fix. You got to be very careful here, because it could be one and done for you tonight here at Sim500 Monday Night Money Winter Series. And the reason that title's that way is, hey, there is money up for grabs for the champ and for some of these specialty style races. That's right, you win the title here, and I think it's all the way down to 5th or 6th place or something like that, how they do it. But I do know that the champ here definitely gets something. We're in the middle of qualifying. Got some names up here that not normally seeing up top. Tim Matthews sitting on top right now.
Yeah, Tim Matthews has shown a lot of speed this year, but I don't think we've seen him win a pole, but we have seen him contend. And Steve Gottschalk right now, currently second, kind of unofficial, provisional right now. We're seeing if that changes here as we round out qualifying, because we are halfway through the session, but most drivers have taken their laps, but pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. You're right, man. We're getting here to closing time. About to go green flag racing here, folks, at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Well, it's kind of my home track here, Harrison. I'm only about 50 minutes from this place, so I just kind of considered it would be the home track that I'm familiar with. Good track here, brings a lot of people. I stay away from Concord, Charlotte area when this place is running, because there's too many people down there on the road.
Yeah, I can understand that. I left town for the weekend and made sure to drive at night because I'm up here by New York City, and I just wanted to avoid all that.
Man, absolutely. Well, right now, well, these guys, man, are about to put on a show for you here. To get done, we got the number 63 out there trying to get his qualifying time in. E.J. O'Rourke's trying to put one down. Still being on point. Tim Matthews right there, still looking good. Got that number 1 machine up top there. And Steve Gottschalk. I hope I said it right. I know we were talking about it last week.
Yeah, it's really a great run. I always thought it was Gottschalk and then found out from Steve himself that it's Gottschalk. It's got a silent S, but outside pole right now for that 91 machine, and he's the Friday night champion if my memory serves me right. And you know, that was with I'm pretty sure they were running the trucks there on Friday nights. Wasn't able to make any of those events, but you know, he seems right at home here. A lot of speed here at Charlotte.
No doubt about it. Still up front, E.J. O'Rourke just put it on third place right there along with Rick McBride, and Justin Fuller rounds out the top 5. So you're right, Harrison. It's going to be interesting to see what these guys can do as this race goes on here. E.J. O'Rourke's one of them guys that's had an up and down season. You know, not really one that he wants to kind of probably talk about, but it's been, you know, like you said, up and down.
Yeah, I feel like he's found himself in trouble early in a lot of these races, and then we've seen him get some pretty good finishes with damaged trucks, badly damaged trucks, and so I think he wants to avoid that whole middle section of the race and just kind of keep himself up there.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Well, here we go. It looks like we're getting set here. Close time to go green flag racing here at Charlotte. Want to appreciate everybody coming out here. We're live tonight here at OSRNetwork on YouTube and Iracing Live. And the 8 machine right there, he's working on his pit entry speed.
Yeah, that's something that you definitely want. You know, we've had so many green flag laps here in this series that these drivers know. Green flag pit stops are a distinct possibility here, and you can gain or lose a lot of time on pit entry.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, who's your favorite out here?
You know, I'm kind of looking toward the back of the people who haven't qualified. I want to say Michael Guest, but coming from the back in traffic has been a bit of an Achilles heel for him. And so I'm kind of looking toward the front. My pre-race pick is Justin Fuller. I think he's going to feel this one out. He's struggled a little bit in recent weeks. I think this track and setup combination might treat him very well.
All right, good deal. I mean, Justin Fuller's been one that's been up there a couple times towards the end of this one. Oh, E.J. O'Rourke, looking for him to maybe just bounce back. Everybody likes that Justin Fuller. Hey, what's going on, Timothy? Tim out there? Is 50? No, he's not in this one. You talking about Waylon Lamb? No, not in this one tonight. I tell you what, I got some awesome regulars that come out and watch week in and week out here, and I want to appreciate those guys that do that there, Harrison. And he's referring to as this guy races and has been up in the booth with me a couple times. Waylon Lamb, he runs in a couple other leagues.
Oh, okay. Certainly, there's a lot of sim racing action. There's a lot of different series up here.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Well, we are live here tonight, folks. Charlotte Motor Speedway here for the Sim500 Monday Night Money Winter Series. That's right, in the trucks, and we got a good thing here. And 2018's around the corner. We're going to get here close to the Turkey Day. That's what we'll call it, Thanksgiving time, and then my favorite time of the year, Christmas. I love Christmas time, man.
Me too. And it's hard to believe we're almost there already. I just saw a sign yesterday that said 50 days till Christmas, so make that 49 and in a few hours be 48.
Absolutely. Love it. I'm going to tell you what, I mean, don't get me wrong, I like eating on Thanksgiving, but I like the ho-ho man.
Well, he is jolly, and I think he brings food a lot.
Yeah, there you go. Absolutely. Brings good presents, too.
Yeah, and actually, I got family all around birthday around Christmas, so they're always kind of in the battle between Santa Claus and it's like the combo. You get a mixture of oh, here's your birthday and Christmas present. They kind of resent that a little bit, but hey, I don't have to deal with that.
Hey, no problem with that either, man. As always. Well, like I say, we're getting set here to go green flag racing, and it looks like Timothy Matthews is going to be the man, still putting it on point. Up there, another one you got to keep an eye out for is Michael Guest. He's been doing some good dominating so far this season. But here we go. We're going to grid these bad boys up here. And on pole tonight, Tim Matthews right there, putting it out there. Steve Gottschalk. I hope I said it right that time. If not, Harrison, he'll get me straight by the night's over with on it. He's starting out second. Third place, E.J. O'Rourke. Fourth place man, we got Rick McBride. Fifth place, Justin Fuller. Was just talking about him right there. Could have a good night here. Sixth place, Nick Thamus. And on seventh place, Chad Coleman right there. Watch out for him. He's been sneaking up our last couple races. Pedro Mega, the Mega Machine right there. Boy knows how to bring the thing to the front. Starting in eighth. Ninth place, got Brian Daly right there. Hey, good name guy right there. Watch out for him. And round out the top 10, Bobby Wetzel. So that rounds the top 10. As we look to the rest of this field, well, 38 of some awesome drivers, skilled drivers. I mean, if you look through here, it's hard to pick out anyone and anybody that could win, because they all can.
Yeah, I mean, even if you look into the 20s, Thomas George has been a factor every race this year. He qualified 25th with a legitimate lap. He just happened to qualify 25th, only about less than a tenth and a half off the pole. So these are some incredible times, really close. Top 25 within a tenth and a half.
Wow. Yeah, and that's just what kind of racing we're about to see here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. These guys are about to put it, like I said, I'm going to think for about the first couple laps, excuse me, sorry about coughing right there a little bit. But for the first, I'm going to say 10 to 11 laps, these guys are absolutely going to be right there on top of each other. And with 38 of these guys, we always have to look and towards the middle, towards the back. That's the danger zone, so to speak. Got to be very careful back there, because one little slip up and we could have the big one here.
Yeah, and it makes me wonder how long these trucks are going to be all together, because I feel like they're not going to be able to get away from each other at this one. We've seen a lot of these D-shaped ovals kind of lean towards the loose side after a few laps, and then everyone kind of branches out and they're wheeling it, just trying to hang on. But I kind of feel like we're going to see a different feel here. As you were saying earlier, just how tight this track can be after a few laps. It can really burn the right front tire, and so it might be a pack for much of the race.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing about too, once you burn that tire, it's very hard to get it cooled back down and get yourself settled, because once you do damage to these tires, it's a hard thing. So that's something else you got to be mindful. Some of these guys are going to come out there and hammer it, try to get to the front. Some of these guys, man, they're going to try to take it easy on the start of this race.
Yeah, and it's a hard balance to figure out, because you could easily give up track position trying to go easy, and you don't want to. And you could see yourself lose 10 spots in a hurry just trying to think of that long run, but end up hurting yourself in the process.
Yep, absolutely. Pace cars coming out of turn 4 here, Harris. We're about to get set to go green flag here as it drops off on pit road. Here we go. Green flag's going to fly in the air. The man up front, Tim, wastes no time. E.J. O'Rourke, he thunders on the inside of Justin Fuller as they head off into turn 1. They'll go 2 by 2, stacked all the way back into this huge field.
Yeah, all these guys trying to figure out where they can go. Steve Gottschalk in the 91 fades to third, EJ up to second as they try to sort out where to go here. I think the Highline's going to come in here where that Highline will really be able to be a defensive groove, but a lot of these guys have sorted out for now, so definitely some action in the middle of the pack though.
No doubt about it. Right now, Rick McBride's got his hands full with the 48 of Pedro Mega. He's on the inside, but he's got Chad Coleman right there hooking him up. The 06, look at that right there, Brian Daly. That's a guy we've been talking about in the last couple of weeks. Got a battle for the lead, also in a battle back here. That's the thing, keeping up with all these battles, Harrison.
Yeah, it really is hard. A lot of those guys in the middle, not used to qualifying up front, it seems like lately, but they're already into the top 10. EJ O'Rourke working on the number 54 of Tim Matthews. And I tell you, EJ, I think he's got that philosophy of let's get to lead, see what I could do, and see if I can hold these guys off. If you're going to pass low, your best chances early on in this run, Tim Matthews way high on the track, going to be able to have a big head of steam coming out of the backstretch. But EJ in that 41 truck doing a good job on the inside.
Yes, he is. Inside run right now. He can do that. He's got good tires, so they'll go 2 by 2 coming out of the turn right now. To complete lap 3, they're going to head for lap 4. And I think EJ O'Rourke's attitude tonight is I'll just get out front here. I've been in the middle of the pack the last couple races and gotten into trouble. If I could just stay out front tonight, maybe I won't have too much trouble. He makes the pass for the lead, and that puts Tim Matthews right there. Now he's got to contend with Justin Fuller. Excuse me, Steve, my bad.
Yeah, Steve Gottschalk qualified second, currently running third, kind of running his own pace. EJ, of course, winner in this series, a winner in several other Sim500 series, and up front in this one. Right behind that 91 truck, the 20 of Chad Coleman. I feel like he's had a lot of mid-pack qualifying efforts this season, but he's been one of the best on the long runs all year long. And to see him up in 4th already makes you wonder. It's kind of like in the olden days when you'd see Matt Kenseth qualify up front, and you'd be like, uh-oh, what does he have?
Absolutely, and it's looking good right now. Chad Coleman is. Well, Tim Matthews not trying to give up on EJ O'Rourke up front, but here comes Pedro Mega. He's bringing the 48. He's on the back tailgate of the 20. Well, they are all stacked up nose to tail on a freight train coming across the line for lap 5, heading into turn number 1. And there you go. Look at that. 48 dives on the inside of the 20 of Chad Coleman. They'll go side to side, and he'll take that spot away out of 2.
Pedro's not one shy to throw it underneath someone. Chad Coleman knew that, went up the hill in turn 1 to give him room. Byron Daly now working underneath Chad. But Pedro, a lot of speed here early, working on the back bumper of that 91 Nerf truck of Gottschalk. And Gottschalk working under the number 54 underneath the Tim Matthews, looking for a lane there.
Boy, I tell you what, they are all jockeying for position up front. It is you can't put hardly a piece of paper between all of them. 48 there, Pedro Mega right there at their quarter panel, near side of the Nerf machine right there. Steve, as he goes on the inside, heading into turn 3, they'll take it side by side. I think this is some of the action we're going to see until the tires start wearing out. We were talking about it. Until we get in about 10 to 12 laps, this is what we're going to see for most of this race, the racing that we're seeing right now.
Yeah, and it kind of makes me a little bit nervous to see them within inches of each other on the straightaway, just knowing how to time the entry, knowing where their competitors are going to go and where they can place their trucks. The 91 to Gottschalk lost a couple of positions on this one, back to about 6th or so. Meanwhile, it's a 4-way battle for the lead. Right behind EJ, still Tim Matthews. Pedro working underneath the Matthews. Byron Daly working the outside in that colorful machine. 4 trucks for the lead right there.
No doubt about it. EJ out front, Tim Matthews right there. We've got you a high and wide shot here from the Blimpie cam. Everybody likes Blimpie. They're going to try to think about taking a 3 wide up front for the second spot.
Yeah, it seems like that number 06 of Byron Daly just keeps working higher and higher, and you can see where that really becomes an advantage as he gets through onto the back straightaway out of 2. Big run for that 06. Can't quite bring it anywhere now, though. They're side by side for second. EJ kind of working both lanes, trying to keep himself out front.
Boy, he's doing what you do at a draft track right there, a Talladega or Daytona, but it don't matter. The 48 of Pedro puts it on the inside of him as they come out of the turn. This time by, is he going to be able to do it? To head down the back stretch, has to think about hanging on and putting it back in line as they'll go single file. Here comes Tim Matthews up high. He's going to dive it down the inside, coming out of turn number 4 to complete lap 10 here, and they'll be going on lap 11 of 134 tonight here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. And so far, it has been a dogfight up front here, Harrison.
Yeah, and Charlotte race is kind of notoriously long, a bit draining when you're constantly in traffic like you see these drivers. Pretty impressive. Byron's working the high side as much as he is right now, and I think he thinks that running the high in 1 and 2 there will help his tires in the long run, especially as you see him the last 2 times running the bottom of 3 and 4, this time underneath the 54 Tim Matthews. But as Byron gets a little bit tight, I thought that Matthews would have a big advantage, but Matthews twitched coming out of turn 4, helped out that 0-6 on the inside.
Yes, it did. Brian Daly on the inside there. Tim Matthews, they're going to take a door-to-door here. Brian's got the spot heading into the turn, takes the 3rd spot away. Bruce pushes up the track where he needs to do. He's going to bring Chad Coleman along with him. They're in the backside there. Got the guy out here, Derek. He's pulling for the 96 machine, which I'm trying to find where the 96 is. Can you see where he's actually? That's Steve Minton, which is back here in the 22nd spot. So let's go back here in the 22nd spot for a second. Thomas George is there, Chad Cole, Joe Hudson, and got Kevin Pearson all back there in the mix.
Yeah, Steve Minton has been a really fast truck in this series. Hasn't quite had the finishes that he's capable of yet. That's certainly going to change, but it's an interesting dynamic here you got going on with Steve Minton, because you look at the trucks he's around him. He's running directly behind Thomas George, and these are drivers who didn't have the qualifying effort that they wanted. And now it's like, well, we're just kind of stuck here in 21st, 22nd together, and they'll probably move their way forward. But for now, it's a weird feeling to, be one of the fastest guys in this league, just kind of stuck riding in 22nd.
And that's the kind of feeling you have here at Charlotte. The Speedway here makes you feel that way. When you're caught in the middle, you got to kind of do something. Everybody's on an even playing field. Look at the lap times. I mean, if you look from previous on back here, it's not split up all the way back to 28th position, actually 29th. There is only a second split, and you got to go to 30th before there's actually a second split in this field. So when you're that close on top of each other, very hard to make ground up.
It really is, and so when you're in that position, you hope for the long run, and you hope that you save your tires enough that you're able to really take advantage of it and have some easier passes. But you never know how these things are going to go. But certainly we're 15, 16 laps into this one right now, and not a caution in sight yet. Knock on wood.
Knock on wood. And the racing that they're actually putting on right now is very, very good, because they are on top of each other throughout this whole entire field. There's Chris Gaboo. I hope I said that right. Did I say that, Racing? Gaboo?
I believe so, from what we heard last week.
Yeah, Gaboo. And hey, most notably, I noticed that Chris, I thought I recognized his name from the Sim500 league here. Well, he races over at Extreme Motorsports 99 on the Thursday nights also. And I said, wait a minute, I know that Chris guy. The name sounds familiar.
Yeah, a lot of these guys have multiple places they race, multiple homes, if you will, and it seems like people usually have that one league that's really, really tough, then another league where it's a little bit more spread out, maybe a different car count, maybe it's a bunch of friends they've been racing with forever, but a common theme in iRacing.
Absolutely. Well, there's so many leagues out there, good ones, and we're watching a good one right here, Sim500 Monday Night Money Winter Series. And like I said, look out for it for next season here, 2018. OSRNetwork is proud to be able to bring awesome racing here on the Monday night here for these guys, as they're bringing the Cup machines next season, Harrison. And then we're doing the Sunday night. Actually bringing, I think, the Xfinity Series cars on Sunday night. So got a lot of good things lined up. A lot of great man action going to be here for the Sim500 bunch. Can't wait for all that. I mean, we got a great race here in the trucks too.
Yeah, E.J. O'Rourke in third, just lifted to let Chad Coleman by, and the 54 Tim Matthews is going to follow underneath him too. And speaking more to the Sim500 series and the changing of the cars, that's always interesting. They try to keep the drivers on their toes, give them a different combination a week, or and the same day of the week, try a different car combination to give these guys a challenge, whether it's on Sunday nights or Monday nights. We were in the Xfinity cars in Monday Night Money not too long ago. The Winter Series went to the trucks. It's a perfect example.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Battle for the lead. Pedro Mega's trying to get by Brian Daly. I know you were talking Brian up, man, the last couple weeks. Not had the races that he needed. Got caught up in some stuff. Well, he's found it. Look at Pedro dirt tracking the thing coming out of the turn. That's what we were talking about in practice there, Harrison. You go into these turns, you come out, you let off of it, think you're going a little slow, you might get back on the throttle. Now we're going to start seeing tire wear become an issue at lap 20.
Yeah, before the race, spoke with Chad Coleman, who's working the outside the 48 Omega right now. Coleman trying to get into second. Chad said, you know what, it's pretty snug, it's pretty tight, but once you get into this run here, just start skating the rear end, and you could really see it, especially out of the 48 truck, working through 1 and 2 there, just sliding around. And Chad said it's drivable, it's not crazy loose, but there's definitely some sliding going on, and interesting to see top 2 there, high, both ends of the racetrack. Byron really working that high side. Interested to see how that's going to play into his tire as we go deeper and deeper into this run as they slow more and more.
Well, you know, I did a race the other day, broadcaster won, and it's typical what I've seen here at Charlotte. After a while, they started using that middle to high groove. Had a guy dominate Charlotte by just using the high groove, found something, and man, I'm going to tell you what, he ran away from it. So it looks like these guys in the truck are feeling the same thing here as we're looking at that 74 machine. Oh, well, guess who that is? Michael guessed. Wow. Well, there you go. We just guessed it.
Yeah, Michael Guest ended up qualifying 17th, but so originally he didn't put up a lap, but still, to come from 17th to right now working underneath a Coleman for second, and he looks like he's going to get it. Byron Daly catches the wall a little bit. Look at Guest, that 74 truck, big run down the backstretch. He's going to throw it into turn number 3 to the lead.
Yes, he does. 74, Michael to the lead, and that's what we were talking about. How so quickly a truck can push up into the wall. We saw it there. Brian Daly came out of the turn. That thing just pushed up, and the wall snapped out and bit him right there out of turn 4 as they head across the line. Lap 24 in the books here, 134, folks. Caution free, but I'm going to tell you what, it ain't lacking any excitement up front. Michael Guest puts it out there. Brian Daly's in second. Pedro Mega's right there battling with Chad Coleman door to door.
Yeah, Pedro, the 48, just working the bottom, and he's just trying to get it to work. And you can see just all that center speed, and as a caution falls, looking for it on the track right now, but there's a caution on the racetrack. First caution of the race, lap 24.
Let's see if Iracing will put me back. It put me back on the 03 of Nathan Bowers. I don't know if he was actually involved or not. I don't think he was, but I think that's who it was involved.
Yeah, not actually finding it right now. EJ critiquing himself over the radio, but EJ not involved in the caution to my knowledge.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Well,
sometimes it's a bit perplexing, yeah.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I'll tell you what. We'll see here. I'll rebound it back about 20 seconds or so. We'll see if it actually catches and see what happens. There's another one right here while I'm watching this. Number 18 of Paul Nicholas Cooper, way back in the back of 33rd position right now. I've been able to move up to the front like he wants.
Yeah, Paul Cooper actually no practice laps, no qualifying laps. He might have gotten to the track right before they went to the grid. So he's he's probably happy that he caught the caution, able to kind of write some notes down mentally as far as how the truck was handling in that first run. And I actually didn't notice Paul Cooper in the race, but now that I know he's here, I'm interested to see if he can make that up.
Yeah, well, I'm not 100% sure on the caution there, folks. So Iracing took me back on one car or one truck, so I'm not 100% what happened on that deal, but we'll definitely try to see if we can't figure out what it is. Somebody threw a hot dog wrapper on the track.
It sure looks like it. And and a quick note too, Justin Fuller, my pre-race pick, as we were hitting the green flag, he said to the driver, he typed actually to the drivers in the race that he was having sound issues and was going to come to pit road. Well, he's behind the wall, 23 laps down. So I just maybe I had like some kind of form of dyslexia going on. It's actually reversed to where I thought he'd be number one. He's actually number one at the bottom.
Yeah, what are you talking about? Actually, I'm showing him disconnected as of right now, Justin Fuller and Nathan Bowers.
Didn't see what happened to Nathan Bowers. Must have been the reason for the caution, come to think of it, 4 laps down.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. When I went back on it, he was in the pit road, so I don't know if he came out, something happened, but well, either way, we'll chalk it up as one of those phantom style cautions. Michael Guest still, wow, that's just he's just making guesswork of everything out here right now, and brought that thing to the front. He has been the man to beat, so to speak, here at the Sim500 Monday Night Money Winter Series in these trucks. It's just been phenomenal so far.
Yeah, and his 2 wins, he's the only driver in the series to get multiple wins this year. After 6 or so races, he won 2 of them, and it was Chicago and Bristol, 2 very different racetracks, but 2 racetracks that he was the fastest guy in the field in. So certainly bodes well for his chances going on later into the season as far as the chase is concerned, as you know, as long as he's going to make it. But good on every type of racetrack, it seems like.
Yeah, no doubt. Very good. I mean, he's I hard to bet against. But you know, another one right there, Pedro Mega. We've seen some very, very flair. Now, last week he just got caught up in a little wreck. You know, and he was doing good earlier on in the race. Right now, doing very good. Sitting here second spot right now. And you got E.J. O'Rourke. I think E.J. O'Rourke's another one who could turn his season around along with Chad Coleman.
Yeah, and Charlotte's not a bad place to do it. Coleman, I believe, won earlier in the year in Atlanta, and Pedro, I keep thinking back to Atlanta where he was in the lead, got loose and overcorrected into the outside wall. So a lot of guys kind of looking for redemption, looking to get their seasons headed in the right direction. But I tell you, they have a tough customer there. Michael Guest going to be restarting this one from the lead. So can they keep up with him? Guest was making up track position before, and now he's got the best track position you can get.
Yeah, out front, clean air. Going to have the start to this one right now. Count out those guys behind him, though. If there's anything, that 48 machine, we call it the Pedro, the Mega Machine out there. Got that yellow flag TV truck hauling the mail out there, so to speak. E.J. O'Rourke behind him. Chad Coleman's right there in the mix. So we're getting set here to go back green flag racing. Pace cars coming out of turn 4. Going to take that hard left turn off on pit road here. Michael Guest is going to lead the company here to the line, and they do. Green flag. He is on the hammer. Pedro drops down the inside. He knows that's what he needs. Right in front of the 20. They head off into turn 1. They'll be nose to tail, the top 5 right there.
Yeah, Pedro saw that Chad got a little bit of a better restart, went defensive, got to that bottom where he wanted to be. And I tell you, if anyone's going to go after Michael Guest right now, I think it'd be Pedro. It seems like he's like forever dangling a carrot in front of his truck where he's just getting after it often. Pedro likes to drive it into these corners. He might try to push Michael Guest into going faster than he wants to go, try to push Michael into pushing his tires.
Absolutely. Another one right there in 6th spot, 77 machine, James Pescarella. He has been able to move it from the 16th spot all the way up to 6th. And he's got Steve Gottschalk right there behind him. And Tim Matthews still running in 8th. Thomas J. George right there in 9th. Bobby Terrell, another one in the top 10. So anything here, like I said, your season can change and have a good one here at Charlotte. Got a good set of tracks coming up here, too. I think we've got Texas and a couple other ones coming.
Yeah, I know next week is a visit to Kentucky, and I wonder where Texas falls on the schedule. I'm going to bring up the schedule right now, but certainly...
A couple weeks, I think. They got a pass for the lead. See that? Pedro Mega made that pass. You were right there, Harrison. He made it look easy, too. Went right up underneath the 74 and made it.
Yeah, Pedro, he's not afraid to drive it into the corner. I learned that firsthand racing with him once or twice. I said, who's this Pedro guy? He drives it in, and he shows that every week. And Michael Guest right now going to be back in second, kind of following in his footsteps, so to speak. But this time, Pedro goes way high on the racetrack, and you see that he's trying to save his tires by giving himself a big arc rather than cutting it to the bottom. Just kind of a different philosophy there. Wonder if they learned anything watching these guys in the lead before, just running very high lines. But, you know, something to speak of for Charlotte. Michael Guest right along the bottom. A lot of guys going to try to keep their left sides right on that white line because there's a little bit more grip there than if you were just, a couple of inches above that.
Yep, absolutely. Right now, Pedro's out front. Michael Guest following in the tire tracks. He was doing it earlier on. Maybe he's just content to ride there until maybe the tires wear out just a little bit. Probably got a better long-running style truck. Chad Coleman there in 3rd. E.J. O'Rourke still sitting in the 4th place spot. James Pescarella moving that thing up there in the 5th already. He's looking for more as he's climbing on the back end of E.J.
Yeah, that's the best we've seen out of James Pescarella all season long. Top 5, and not just top 5, but he looks like he's got a little bit more speed right now than these guys in front of him. As similar paint scheme to Rhett McBride, possibly teammates if I had to guess, but that 77 truck looking good right now. EJ might just let him by here shortly.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Right now, looking good out front. Again, want to appreciate everybody coming out here tonight because we're here at Charlotte Motor Speedway for the Sim500 Monday Night Money Winter Series, and the truck's been a very, very good one so far. Up front, Pedro Megan, the 48 machine. He's leading this one at lap 35 of 134. Only had one caution out there tonight and two trucks out of the race so far. That'd be Justin Fuller and Nathan Bowers. So we still got 36 bad fast machines.
Yeah, big field here. And 35 of them currently on the lead lap, by the way, all within 10 seconds right now. It seems like as far as the pace up front, we got about 20 trucks who seem to be able to run that pace right now. Obviously lost some ground on the restart and having to deal with traffic, those guys in the middle of the pack. But Pasquarello working underneath the 41 at EJ O'Rourke. EJ working the high side, able to pull down the back straightaway. 77 of Pasquarello will come back in line there in front of Tim Matthews.
Doubt about it. Yep, yeah, you're right there. He did it. I thought for a minute the 77 was going to have the pass. Well, hey, look at this stat here, Harrison. All the way back to the 34th position. It's only a second as far as lap times on this field.
I mean, that's unbelievable. And when you have that kind of mid-pack qualifying effort or start in the back, it makes it that much more frustrating. And it makes it that much more impressive that Michael Guest came from 17th to the lead and now currently second. Pedro's still out there in the 48, but I'm impressed. I didn't expect Michael Guest to get up there that quickly.
Well, you know, we've seen him do it a couple times throughout the season here, and he's been able to do it tonight here at Charlotte Motor Speedway as they just continue and across the line for lap 38 of 134. Well, as we got a battle for the lead, Michael says I might be tired of running in second spot. He goes on the inside out of turn number 2. They head down the backstretch side by side. They're going into 3 here. Let's see if he's going to be able to get the run going into the inside.
Yeah, he tries to use all the grip on that white line. You see even kind of Kevin Harvick's notorious for at Charlotte, where it's just working as low as you possibly can. You have the splitter underneath the white line, just those left side tires working underneath, and that's about as low as you see that 74 Michael Guest went in the middle of 3 and 4. Not quite as low as 1 and 2. Pedro able to work the outside. Michael not able to clear him yet, but it seems like Guest's better half of the track is here in 3 and 4.
Yeah, no doubt about it. They still side to side. He just needs that top line coming out of the turn so he can move up the track. Might have the nose out front enough. Nope, can't do it, but he does cross the line with the lead that time as they head off into turn 1. Be lap 40 of 134. Michael Guest battling it out with Pedro. Looks like he cleared him that time, so he'll be able to slide up the track coming out of 2 down the backstretch.
Yeah, it looks like Pedro during turn 1 kind of folded his hand just waiting for the next play, but Guest back to the lead. Pedro, you can see a big difference in style here, and the lead battle brought that 20, that Georgia truck, Chad Coleman, up to 3rd and right on these guys.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Well, I'll tell you what, let's give them what we like to do. The OSRNetwork rundown order here tonight. Charlotte Motor Speedway. These guys out here are doing a fantastic job because right now, Michael Guest out front is leading it. Started 17th, currently out front there in the 74 machine. Right behind him, that's right, Pedro Mega started 8th, currently sitting in 2nd. Behind him, Chad Cole sitting in 3rd spot now. Looking like he's wanting to get more out there in the Georgia Bulldogs machine. Behind him, EJ O'Rourke's trying to hang off the charge of the 77 as he's sitting in the 4th place spot. 5th place man, James Pescarella. He is said to come up from 16th all the way to 5th. Looking good right there, sitting in 5th. 6th place man, Tim Matthews, put it on pole tonight. And he's sitting in 7th. Behind him, that's the 6th place man, Mike Kelly. That's had a swap right there, though. But Mike Kelly came from 13th, sitting in 6th. Behind them, we got Brian Daly, who started 9th, currently sitting in 8th place. And then the 9th place man, Steve Gottschalk, right there in the Nerf Mobile. He is currently sitting in 9th right there in the 91 machine. 10th place man, Bobby Terrell. He's got muscle milk out there, so he's definitely got a strong bones, and he needs it tonight here at Charlotte because he's running in 10th right now. 11th place man, Thomas J. George. As he got the snap-on machine looking good. And 11th came from 25th, too. And 12th place man, Bobby Wetzel right there, currently sitting in 12th. 13th place, Steve Minson. We were talking about him earlier. He's already moved up a couple spots. Currently, he started 27th because sitting in the 13th. 14th place, Chris Caboo right there. And 14th place man started 15th, moved up a spot here tonight. 15th place, Jonathan Cottle. I will say Cottle, but I know it's probably not right. But Cadell Might be is what we were talking about before, but he's got Steel Horse Racing Live out there, and he's currently running in the 15th place spot. 16th, Chad Cole. And another one that really talked, but hey, he started 32nd, currently 16th right now. 17th, Scott Simley. I always say Smiley because the man's smiling in the Red Bull machine right now in the 17th spot. 18th place man, Jose Gonzalez right there. He started 31st, hitting in the 18th. Not bad, moving up there in 26th. 19th place man, Brian Boris Cook. He's got Jurassic Park and a bunch of dinosaurs on it. Currently came from 26 all the way to 19. 20th place man, there he is, Joey Katina. That's Mr. Sim500 himself out there tonight, running in the 20th position. 21st spot, Ed Burrow right there looking good in his machine in the 17th machine. In 22nd, we got Kevin Pearson right there behind him. 23rd, you got Jimmy North right there in 23rd. He's moved up. Don Roberts, 24th, moved from 34th position up. 25th man, Rick McBride, fell off the pace just a little bit. Got a little damage on the machine right now, running 25th spot. 27, Joe Hudson right there. Behind him, 26, Glenn Campbell. And you got the Harley Davidson machine riding high. 28th spot, Nick Thamus. He actually started 6th. He's fell back just a little bit, trying to look like he can get up front here. He'll try a little bit later on. 29th spot, you got Jonathan Lockhart right there. Behind him in 31st, Nicholas Cohan. Haven't really talked much to him, but he's got a little damage on the nose of that machine, currently in 31st. 32nd place, man, we got KC Duncan right there in the Pepsi machine. Behind him, 33rd machine, it's Brian Workman. He started 38, currently up, and he looks like he's going to the pits or something. 33rd, Jason Swan. Behind him, 35th, Paul Nicholas Cooper. Not the night he's looking for. A little damage on the nose of that machine, so he's in 35th right now. First man a lap down, though, that man right there, Braden Whitaker, sitting in 36. And the two trucks that are out, Nathan Bowers and Justin Fuller are out of this one tonight. And that takes us back up front here to Pedro Mega, who is still leading this pack. And, man, that's a lot of great trucks, a lot of great paint jobs, and that's a big field, Harrison.
Yeah, it's hard to believe. We're lap 49 into this one. Just started lap 49, these leaders, and 36 trucks running. I believe you said only one is a lap down. And,
Yep.
you know, we see options. The dynamic track surface, you see multiple grooves working. You see that high line come in, people running low as well. I think that really helps us have this green flag atmosphere here for these guys to race it out on the track and not have as many cautions.
Absolutely. Well, a little 77 got a little wiggly coming out of the turn right there. That brought the 91 there, Steve, up on the back end. They'll go door to door coming across the line into one. Had to get very heavy. Now, I was saying they were going to do some green flag stops. I know that caution messed it up a little bit, but we should start seeing some green flag pit stops here shortly.
Yeah, usually a rule of thumb that I look at a lot is depending exactly on how many laps to go when they restarted this one, you'll see people generally go 30 to 35 laps, I feel, on tires. It could go quite a bit longer on fuel, but they've done the math, and they've decided you kind of give up a certain amount when you stretch the whole fuel run, where putting 30 to 35 laps in, as long as you don't catch that caution pretty quickly, it works out. Yeah,
no doubt about it. Well, it looks like the 91 made it back around. That's Steven Gottschalk right there. He made it around Bobby Terrell. Bobby Terrell's trying to push it up. He's got the 5 of Thomas George all over his back deck lid as they'll go up underneath each other coming out of 4. Be very careful, man. This kind of old tires, well, that brings the 5, and he's doing some bump drafting down the front stretch.
Yeah, that I was just watching that big slide from Steve Gottschalk there in the 91. He held on to it. And I think that's the biggest thing. You got to walk away from sometimes you give up 2 spots, but it pays off if you're able to keep that truck clean, because, you know, a little bit of damage on that right side takes away a lot of speed from these things. As Thomas George able to clear Bobby Terrell there, entering turn number 3 up to 9th, I believe, for that 5 truck.
Yeah, it is. Up to 9th right there. Looking good tonight so far. You know, Steve, he's falling back just a little bit there in 11th spot. I think you're starting to see the guys now saved a little bit of tires moving up here. The problem is with this here, you're so wide open at the first part of the run, like what you said earlier. If you don't want to give up too much, and if you give up a lot, it's very hard to make that distance up. So you've got to balance it, and it's a very tough balancing act.
It really is, and which makes it a little perplexing when someone seems to have a lot of short run and be able to do, have that long run pace as well. And I think Michael Guest is thinking that he saved more than Pedro Mega. And that 48 truck, by the way, half a second in front of Michael Guest right now. So I tell you, the inputs are everything. How you steer everywhere, it makes such a difference in how you're able to keep that right front tire and the right rear tire under control. We see a lot more people sliding around. It's a balancing act. It's walking a tightrope.
Yeah, absolutely. Good battle, though. I'm still watching right here between Steve Gottschalk and Bobby Terrell, Chad Coleman, Steve Minson. All four of those trucks still are side by side. They come into turn number one. Problem is, old Bobby Terrell looks like he's blinking just a little bit.
Yeah, and as a driver, it kind of makes you back off a little bit. Excuse me. Well, I hit the cough button real fast, but where you don't want to push the issue too much. Chad Cole all over the back of Bobby Terrell there. Steve Minson going to take advantage of the outside, drives it way deep into turn number 3, slides way up the track, but I tell you, that outside groove is there. 96 truck of Minson doesn't lose too much coming through 3 and 4, but still side by side with that 7 of Bobby Terrell.
Well, I'll tell you, that was a driving job. Well, he went high and wide, and that truck was wiggling coming out of the turn, but he made it stick and work. I got a feeling the outside lane right now is coming in now. So we haven't really talked too much about here too, Harrison. Dynamic tracks here on iRacing. They have them. So these guys will be searching all around here where the grip is. You're going to see the turns throughout this race starting to dark up. It's kind of unique effect. And I'm going to tell you what's that? Steve Minson. He's having his hands full with that truck right now.
Yeah, almost got into the wall again. Chad Cole wisely backed out as much as he had to. Helps out that 7 of Bobby Terrell, but still side by side there between Minson and Terrell. Saw one truck hit pit road, didn't catch who it was in the middle of the pack though. But it also makes you wonder, as more and more drivers start running higher and higher on the track, could also make things interesting as far as which group to run later. The lower might come back.
Absolutely. Well, I was just about to say it. I was still watching Steve Minson out there. Heck of a driving job he's doing. He is sliding all over the place. Got that high side rolling around here, but what we were talking about earlier is if you go out throughout the track, you watch the beginning of it to the end of this race, you'll see the turns. They will darken up, and it's kind of unique effect. I like watching it because it's you see the rubber being laid down throughout the race.
Yeah, it changes everything. It kind of brings more of a dirt track effect into not at the same speed. You know, dirt track racing kind of notorious for the track is changing constantly. You have a 30 lap main event, and it just goes through 5, 6, 7 changes. So it's a slower thing on asphalt, but it changes a lot about where to go.
Absolutely. Let's give you an idea. Still popped up there, your top 5 right there. Pedro Mega still out front. Michael Guest right there behind him. Chad Coleman there. Mike Kelly has moved it up, and then Tim Matthews rounds out the top 5. We're still watching this battle back here as Chad Cole's on the inside. Jose Gonzalez has moved it up there in the 10th place spot. Bobby Terrell's there. Still watching Steve Minson. Looks like they might get settled out here shortly, but they're still side by side there.
Yeah, Chad Cole just kind of working his way forward. You mentioned before, starting in the back, was 33rd fastest in practice, probably because he didn't take too many practice laps, but 32nd in qualifying. He did not take a qualifying lap. 31 in qualifying did, so Cole, first one to not take a lap, but gained 21 spots since the start of the race, and we're not quite halfway yet, but we're creeping up on it. We're going to be there within about 7 or 8 laps.
Wow, I'll tell you what, awesome run so far as you're seeing these guys right now. Chad Cole's there. Bobby Terrell's moving it on up, so going back. And there's Jonathan, I think we said when we come up on Cadell.
Oh, yeah, Jonathan Cadell.
Yeah, I think that's what we've come out. And, hey, I'll go ahead and apologize to him for saying your name wrong. I know he'll get back up with us. Joey got with me last week and told me how to pronounce it. And, folks, well, I forgot. I'm sorry.
It's a bit weird. Bobby Terrell for years. It was Terrell. There's, tomato. There's a lot of ways.
Well, when you do as many leagues as I do, you try to come up with you help out with these guys' names. I definitely want to get them right for these guys. They come out here. Definitely, they work hard with their paint jobs. They work hard out here, and they put on a very good show here. I do know Jonathan because he's one of the first Twitch streamers that I watched on iRacing when I came here and started getting involved with iRacing. Because you can check him out over on Twitch at Steel Horse Racing TV or Steel Horse Racing Live, either one. Just check him out because man loves he loves racing and he definitely loves beer.
Oh, that's right. It's an entertaining stream, and it's kind of cool. I always like having the NASCAR onboards to go along with the actual broadcast, and that he brings us that.
He does, and I tell you, it's definitely interesting. I've watched several of his streams. Like I say, he's one of the first ones I came out and watched. So definitely check him out. He's having a pretty good run. Yet to make a pit stop out there, but he's up to 7th. Not the season that he's wanted. Been caught up in a little bit of incidents throughout here and there. But hey, you know, it is what it is. You know, that's the product of you know, big tracks, a lot of fast guys. Like you just said, I mean, look at this. Well, we've got a lot of guys lapped down now because of taking green flag stops, but we only had one guy a lap down and had 36 machines still out here running. That's impressive.
That really is impressive. I mean, the only things that put most of those guys a lap down, as you said, pit stops had started, and we have this untimely caution, which is really going to pink into some people's plans here. And I'm looking for where the caution is, and I haven't been able to figure it out yet, but it's looking to me like it's probably oh, there we go. It is a Lowe's truck. Jimmy North, number 84, came to a stop against. You know what? Jimmy North might have had. It was warp on my end. I started wondering if his game got minimized on him or something, but I think Jimmy North caught the wall entering turn 1, came to a rest against the fence in the middle of 1 and 2.
All right. Let's see if we can't get it up here, man. See what we got.
And like I said, the 84 was warping a lot on my end, and I'm not sure if it was my end or the server in general, but I saw Jimmy North caught the safer barrier entering turn number 1, just kind of sucked him in, and, you know, it's an embarrassing mistake to make, but we've all made it. It's incredibly easy to do because you're just going as wide as you can before you enter these corners, and I tell you, it's not difficult at all to just grab that safer barrier because it juts out at you.
Yep. Well, watching a replay here, let the viewer see. Boom. Yeah, it just went right into turn number 1. Hit it. It just slid up on the wall, held onto it, and then he slid down, came back up, and slammed the outside wall again hard. Wow, ouch right there. Yeah, I've done that a few times, but we talked about that too there, Harrison. This place, it's really tough. It's like that wall can just jump out and bite you at any time.
Yeah, and actually, to correct myself, he did hit the safer barrier, but when he got the wall the first time, it was before the safer barrier. But similar thing, we've all done that here, where you're just trying to get that wide arc into turn 1. It's really easy to misjudge, just like you said.
Yep, absolutely. Well, under caution here for the second time tonight here. So it has been a very good one so far. Lap 67 and 134. And kind of looking through the thing here, maybe if anybody we can talk to. You know what? We were just talking about him. Let's see if we can bring up Jonathan Cadell, and we'll just ask him how to pronounce his last name. How's that?
Well, it sounds good to me. And he's in the top 5.
Yeah, no doubt. So we'll just go ahead and do that. Here we go. I'm gonna bring him up. We'll talk to him. Jonathan, is Joe White in the booth? Got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Man, I tell you what, looking good out there, that Steel Horse TV, and like we was talking about before, you were one of the first Twitch guys that I watched on over there on the Steel Horse Racing when I started Iracing.com. Watched you, I said, man loves racing and beer. It definitely is entertaining to watch. How's the truck feeling tonight here, Charlotte?
Oh, I managed to loosen it up a lot going there through the grass and pulling a Carl Edwards, but it's loose out here.
Absolutely. Well, you know, and that's funny you say that because a lot of guys are telling us it's kind of tight, but hey, you know, loose I guess is good for some guys. You think you got enough to pull it off here tonight?
I'm hoping to survive. I think a lot of these guys racing side by side up front, they might start getting a little bit, it's hard to pass on the inside, and you start getting loose, and then I don't know. I'm hoping to survive. I ain't got the speed, but hopefully we got the right strategy, and these waiver rounds, we'll see what happens.
Absolutely. One other question, and I was told, I got the correct one. Your last name, is it Cadell?
Cadell is the correct pronunciation, yes.
All right, good deal, because I was calling you Coddle for a while, and everything else in the book, so, all right, good deal. We just wanted to get it right, and I couldn't remember, and me and Harrison was up here talking about it, so good luck out there, man, tonight.
Thank you, sir.
All right, good deal. There you go, well, Harrison. We were getting it right, so I can get him back down there in his old team channel. Good deal. Got him right back down there where he needs and where he belongs. And Cadell, there we go. We got it.
Oh, we know for sure now, right from the source.
Absolutely. And man, like I say, he, good guy. If you ever want to watch an entertaining stream on Twitch, check that guy out. Definitely loves Iracing. Got an awesome setup over there, and he's one of the first ones I'm gonna watch. So good guy, man. He'll definitely give guys shout outs and whatnot, and so forth and so on. So it's always good, man, to see that. Good to see him out here running for the Sim500 Monday Night Money Winter Series. And he was actually, I think, running at one of the other series also Wednesday night in the trucks, if I wasn't mistaken.
I'm actually not sure if he ran Wednesdays because I haven't seen many of them, but that sounds right to me. I believe you're right.
Yeah. All right, we're getting set here to go back green flag racing again here, Harrison. Going to be lap 70 when they cross that line. And out front, Pedro Mega has been the man. He wants to pull this thing off here tonight and show the world that he just ain't a producer, that he can come out here and wheel this thing. Green flag in the air, he takes off. Michael Guest right behind him. He's going to try to make guesswork of what's going on, but he's got a 06 Brian Daly and Mike Kelly right there on his tailgate coming into turn one as they all stacked up 2 by 2.
Yeah, Mike Kelly on his way to second there clears Michael Guest. And we spoke with Kelly last week running in the top 3 there. And Kelly spoke about how, he's kind of more known for his long run speed, trying to work on the short run here. But I tell you, the complexion of this race really changed because Pedro, masterful long run job on the last one. Michael Guest kept getting looser and looser. Pedro Mega speed from start to finish in that last run. So that look at that big arc from the 48 going down into turn 1. That may be a big factor why he's able to keep those tires on it.
No doubt about it right now because Michael Guest got his hands full with a man that's got focus on his truck, Brian Daly, and he's focused on trying to take that spot away, the 3rd spot away from the 74 man, and that's Michael Guest holding on the 3rd. Mike Kelly sitting right there in 2nd. Pedro Mega still out front of this one, and he's commanding it. Like you said, a good run out there. You got to go a little bit further back here. Jose Gonzalez, another one, a big mover. And we just talked to him. Jonathan Cadell right there. He moved it up, sitting in 6th. Steve Minson, he's got a fan club out there sitting in 7th. Chris Gaboo, Brian Boris Cook in 9th. Joe Hudson rounds out the top 10. So it's the guys we talked about tonight, Harrison, moving it up front.
Yeah, there were a bunch of guys who pitted under green flag, took the wave round, so we're back up to 30 on the lead lap. And as far as these guys who had not pitted before the caution fell, I tell you, good track position could really change the way your night's going, change the way your truck's feeling, and that's proof right here. Brian Cook was surprisingly struggling running the 25 right now. Gaboo really tight going on the backstretch, but I saw the 63 struggling more than I expected, but hey, this might be what he needs.
No doubt about it. Look at the pass Brian Boris Cook put on Chris right there. Made that pass, got up to the 8th spot right now. He's got the Jurassic Park. He got the T-Rex out there growling at everybody, scaring them. Now he's going to try to take that spot away, the 7th place spot there from the man Steve Minson, who has moved up here to 7th. And look at old Mike Kelly. He's moving up there on Pedro Mega. So, wow, a lot of action going on in this track early on.
Yeah, and I think Mike Kelly's pushing it a little bit harder than Pedro Mega is right now. A little bit surprising, but I tell you, just like last one, I was a little bit surprised by the 48's long run speed. Could be similar here with the 2 truck. They might kind of know what they have to do. Sometimes you can save tires going as fast as the track allows, and it's just simply because you're driving it to not get tight. And so, I tell you, it's interesting here. It's like a mixed bag of styles and approaches and all of it.
No doubt about it. Up front, Pedro Mega out there. Mike Kelly behind him. Michael Guest right there in the 3rd spot. Brian Daly sitting in 4th. It's a who's who. Jose Gonzalez right there. I called him Speedy Gonzalez last week. Man's definitely got some speed, and he's showing it right now because he's sitting in the 5th place spot. Jonathan Cadell right there. He is sitting in 6th. We just talked to him a little bit ago. Good run for him. If he comes out of here in the 6th spot, that's probably going to be a win-win for the way his season's been going so far.
Yeah, and you heard it in his voice under the caution period. He wasn't that confident in his speed at all, but I tell you, they're running very similar lap times to the leaders right now. Cadell restarted in 8th up to 6th. All over Jose Gonzalez, working a much higher groove Right now, looking underneath, that 26 of Gonzalez going to stay in line actually here as they enter turn number 3. But top 5 speed right now for Cadell.
No doubt about it. Well, you got to look. The top 4 guys are running 29 seconds, and they're pulling away right there as they are all nose to tail in a draft formation. They are just putting bad, fast speeds down here tonight on a bad, fast track. And there you go. Here comes Brian Boris Cook. You know, he's the main man there for Joe Gibbs Racing. I think they're social media guy or something like that. He's definitely got a smile on the Toyota guy's face.
Yeah, anyone who pays attention to any fan of Joe Gibbs Racing really might know Boris from JGR. He runs the Twitter, Facebook, whatever else, Snapchat. And he's the social media man for Joe Gibbs Racing. And kind of interesting that he's running Jurassic Park colors, though. But he is running a Toyota Tundra, so.
And it's got some awesome speed. Came from 26, currently in 7th right now. You got Steve Minson trying to work over the man right here. But Chris Gaboo, hope I said that right. Gaboo, right?
I believe so. Chatlock colors, too. I like that.
Yeah, he's got some good colors on that truck. Joe Hudson right there, looking good. I tell you what, these guys, man, are still stacked up. But the front 4, well, they're just checking out with some awesome speed right there. Pedro Mega, Mike Kelly, Michael Guest, Brian Daly. They are all 4 hooked up in a line and are just saying they are gone, just like a bunch of silver bullets up front.
Yeah, and the last one, that 4th truck in line, Byron Daly, we saw him when he was in the lead. Michael Guest got the lead when Byron got into the wall out of turn number 2, gave that 06 truck right side damage. And I was thinking to myself earlier that, you know, Byron Daly's truck just might not have the speed able to compete in this one. But right now, I mean, doing a great job keeping right on top of these guys. Pedro with a little bit of a cushion on Mike Kelly. It's hard to call that a cushion. He just has a tiny bit of room there. But these top 4 all together.
No doubt about it. Another one, man's falling back here. The 41 machine, E.J. O'Rourke's back in the 16th spot. You go behind them, though, they're stacked up 2 by 2 there. Thomas George, Chad Cole, James Pescarella, and Steve Gottschalk. You saw them guys up front earlier on. Now they're stuck way back marred in traffic. I think on that last caution, the last pit stop they got back there, the speeds are so even. That's just it, Harrison. Once you get back there, it's hard to make ground up.
It really is. We saw Steve Minson back there, running about 20th early on for a long time until he was able to kind of maneuver his way through. Steve Minson, currently 8th after this pit strategy really changed things up. A lot of guys kind of struggling in traffic. Steve Gottschalk been top 10 all race, back to 20th right now. And so it's hard for them to work through.
Yeah, and I agree with you right now. You still see them side by side. James Pescarella right there. And Steve, man, they're trying to battle it out for the 1920th spot. You got Scott Simley right behind him, Bobby Terrell, and most of these names we just saw about, 10, 15 laps ago were up front battling it out. Now they're back in the, 18, 19, 20th some odd spots.
Yeah, and when you have more than 20 competitive trucks in a race, that just makes it that much more important to get the strategy right and not be on the losing end of that. Because I tell you, they're running out of time. Especially in a series where we're not seeing a lot of cautions. I think we've only had 2. And so you can't rely on the cautions to save you.
Well, summary right there. Lap 83 of 134, 6 lead changes. And you're right, 2 cautions out here tonight. So a very, very good race so far here at Charlotte. And as we said that, we got 2 trucks heavily in the wall back in the back here.
Oh, yeah, one of them, the 10 of Kevin Pearson. Also Ed Burrell, also involved. It looks like it starts with Bobby Wetzel got stuck in the wall and came off of it, and the 10 there was contact and he was trying to get away from it, and Ed just kind of piled in Pearson, who had slowed at a very dramatic rate. So kind of a tough no place to go for those 2 trucks. Yep,
just watching it right there for the viewers, let them see it. Yeah, this looks like the one truck got up in the wall. 10 had nowhere to go. Just the real estate closed up. Kind of the door closed very fast right there. Got into each other. And that's just how fast it happens. There's the closing rate and the speed that these guys may close on each other. You just never know. Well, caution number 3 here. Not bad. 49 to go here tonight. Pedro Mega out front. Mike Kelly sitting in second, Michael Guest third, Brian Daly fourth, Jose Gonzalez sitting there in the fifth place spot as we're here live tonight, Charlotte Motor Speedway, for the Sim500 Monday Night Money Winter Series in the trucks. Very good season so far. Michael Guest has been the man out there, but Pedro Mega's trying to look like he wants a win here tonight.
Yeah, and when we talked to Pedro Mega after he finished third at Atlanta, and he knew that he had damaged his truck pretty badly getting loose on the front stretch there, you could tell by the tone of his voice. He badly wanted to get to victory lane in one of these, and he knew he had missed one of his opportunities too. And so it's on his mind, and the speed that he has been showing in this race has been incredible, and he's going to get out of pit road in first, beats Michael Guest off of pit road to retain the lead there.
Yes, he does. Michael Guest's going to come in second. Brian Daly's going to move up a spot there in the third. Mike Kelly's going to drop to fourth place. It's going to be interesting to see what these guys do on the restart up here. As all four of those machines, well, they were bad fast to begin with. It looked like they were just so even going around this track.
Yeah, and I think part of it is there's a little bit of difference in strategy as far as how hard they want to push there, because we didn't quite get to the looseness part of the run, and we heard Jonathan Cadell mention it earlier. I think these guys are a lot looser in race conditions than they were in practice. We had spoken to some guys during practice where they really didn't think it would get that loose, but I tell you, when I saw Michael Guest getting very loose in second place while Pedro was pulling away, I thought, ooh, this track has gotten a lot looser than I expected. But these drivers know that now, and they're adjusting.
Oh, absolutely. Well, it's been a good one so far. 47 laps here left in this race tonight, Charlotte Motor Speedway, for the Sim500 Monday Night Money Winter Series here. As it's been a typical Charlotte race that we've seen. Guys out here been running nose to tail and side to side and everything else. As these guys, men, are putting on a very, very good show here. We still got, right now, 33 of the 38 machines out here on the lead lap. 2 machines out of the race here, and only 3 of them a lap down.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. This is a big field, and most trucks are relatively unscathed. A little bit of damage, especially on the right side for a few of these guys. There really only seems to be 3 or 4 trucks that are kind of somewhat heavily damaged. There really aren't many.
No doubt about it. Well, like I said, there's a Jose Gonzalez. Called him Speedy Gonzalez last week. I tell you what, he has come up through the field here tonight, sitting in 5th. Started 31st position. Wow, what a comeback here for him. Been able to maintain and stay up there, along with Brian Boris Cook behind him, Chris Gabu right there in the 7th spot. Scott Mitten's been able to maintain. Jonathan Cadell right there in 9th. And another Jonathan right there behind him, Jonathan Lockhart. Hadn't really talked about him around the top 10.
Yeah, I feel like we've seen some bad luck in some of these races for Jonathan Lockhart. I just feel like I've said his name multiple times as being the victim of a wreck where he had nowhere to go. And so it's nice to see things going a little bit more his way, the driver of the number 6.
Absolutely. Well, when they come to the line, it'll be 45 laps left. Still plenty of time for a lot of these drivers to make up some time to get up front here. But if that mega machine of Pedro Mega up there keeps doing what he's been doing, going to work, Michael Guest is going to have to guess on what he's going to have to do to run that 48 machine down. And then you got the 6 back there. He's trying to stay focused on the race. And then 2 there. So all 4 of them guys, don't count them out as we're getting set to go back green flag racing here, Harris. As a pace car slowly coming out of turn number 4. Like I said, we're at lap 46 to go tonight, Charlotte. Pace car's out of turn 4. Man up front, Pedro Mega's going to lead them through the line. He wastes no time. Green flag in the air. He's hammered down, heading into turn 1. That's right. Brian Daly goes on the inside. Michael Guest up high. They're heading to turn 1. They'll try to get single file, but they'll still go 2 by 2.
Yeah, Pedro tried to catch Michael Guest off guard, and he did exactly that. Guest tapped on the gas, anticipating, let back off of it. Pedro's like, there's my cue, and he's gone. Now Guest is stuck on the outside. Byron Daly into second, as you mentioned. Mike Kelly working on him for third. Jose Gonzalez, that 26 truck, trying to get involved as well. Guest drives into turn number 3 deep, but I tell you, that 2 truck, Mike Kelly, matched his pace looking to complete that pass here on the other end.
No doubt about it. Cross the line to be here. 44 to go. Heading into turn one. Mega's out front, but behind him, Mike Kelly's on the inside. Michael Guest up high. They'll go side to side out of turn two. Storming down the backstretch. Behind him, Brian Boris Cook right there. And he's got Jose Gonzalez beside him. So you got 4 trucks right there. And up nose to tail, side by side. Battle for the lead up front. Brian Daly's trying to challenge the 48 machine.
Yeah, he was right on top of him and not quite able to get there, but I tell you, those two behind him too. Just seeing these guys all together, that 63 machine, Jose Gonzalez, there's a caution somewhere on the racetrack. Looking for it right now.
I think that was Steve Goss. Chalk, man, just got
big
turned.
crash.
Yep. I think Steve got involved in it right there. Saw the truck go around, but I'm gonna go back on it just to see if it actually was him. I know Paul Nicholas Cooper's in there. Problem is it happened right in the middle of the track here, actually right in the turn. I'm gonna watch right here for a second, see if it actually was Steve or he was just a product of, hey, look right there. Oh no, it happened in front of him. 2 trucks got to that. Oh, Chad Coleman was the one that started right there. Rick McBride involved, Bobby Terrell involved in it, Tim Matthews involved, 77 involved. Lots of some heavy hitter names right there involved in that one. And another thing about this track here, as what we're watching now, is it's not really a self-cleaning track. Once something happens here, it pretty much just happens and closes up.
Yeah, especially because it started before they got to the banking in turn one. And it really does feel like Charlotte is possibly the most narrow. It's got to be the most narrow speedway that we go to of this size. And I mean, that's about as nothing more evident than right there. A little bit of an argument over space. I think they were coming out of the tri-oval, and Coleman expected the 12 of Joe Hudson to be much closer to the wall, but he wasn't. Contact was made. Hudson goes up the track, bounces off the wall, and then you have about 5, 6, 7 innocent victims. A lot more with a little bit of damage, but at least 5 or 6 with significant damage to their trucks. Chad Coleman, he's no chance he's going to win this one at this point. Rhett McBride badly damaged. 77 Pasquarella, we saw him top 5 earlier.
Yeah, hate to see that, man. A lot of good guys out here and involved in that one. But when you're all stacked up together here at the track and you're all bunched up, that's what can happen. It's almost like the big one at a plate track.
It really is. You back it down, you get on the brakes, and you look for a gap. But I tell you, sometimes as a driver, you just don't have an option to avoid it.
No, you don't. And again, I take it back to this is not one of the self-cleaning style tracks. And what I mean by that, just for the viewers that might not understand what we're talking about, I know me and you, me and Harris, we know. But unlike like a Dover or a Bristol, where you pretty much could stay high and the truck, a car, whatever, when they go to spin, usually don't come back up the track. They'll kind of wash back down. And that usually means the track's kind of self-cleaning the wreck itself. Here at Charlotte, it's very narrow, like you said, and once it happens, well, yeah, you're either going to have time to back it down or close your eyes and pray you make it through it.
Especially at that part of the racetrack. It feels like if there's an accident on the entry here, they'll back it into the wall or slide up, whatever the story is, maybe come back down. But when you're in the dogleg there, it just it bunches everything up on corner entry to where it's all right there before you really hit the banking, and makes it a whole lot harder because people start piling in before you get to the banking, and then the banking is just covered in wrecked trucks.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Like I said, just like a parking lot. Everybody's just sitting there and you're going, hey, wait a minute, where'd these trucks come from? And it happens. Well, Pedro Mega's still out front here at Charlotte Motor Speedway for the Sim500 Monday Night Money Winter Series. Appreciate everybody coming out here tonight, tuning in and watching this thing. We're live here at OSRNetwork on YouTube here, and Iracing Live here. I want to appreciate them letting us broadcast this thing here for all the viewers and all the drivers out here tonight. Brian Daly right there, Mike Kelly, Jose Gonzalez. Now, did Michael Guest pit? Because I don't see him. He's way back in 11th.
Going back in the replay right now to check, he did come in this stop, and I think most of the other guys pitted about 5 laps prior, and so I believe everyone else can make it on fuel, or everyone can make it on fuel. You know, they wouldn't pit if it goes green to the end of this race, and so tires are a factor. Guest wants the tire advantage for the end of this race in case it goes green, and it very well might because of how green this race has been.
Yeah, absolutely. It's got that green flag feel to it. They get spread out here, but I get set to go back green flag racing. So it'll be interesting to see. That's going to put us 40 laps, 39 to go here. Like you said, those guys are going to have to go about 45 laps on fuel and tires. He's definitely going to have that tire advantage here by at least by 6 or 7 laps. So it'll be interesting to see. Thing about it is, though, he's going to have to make some moves early on to at least get back up to the front there. Doesn't want to lose ground too much early on.
And I think part of what has him confident, the start of this race, he started 17th, got up to the lead in about 25 laps.
No doubt about it. Well, here we go. Pace cars coming out of turn number 4, folks. When they cross that line, it'll be 38 to go. Been a thriller here at Charlotte Motor Speedway for the Sim500 Monday Night Money Winter Series. Pedro Omega's going to lead them to the line, and he does. Green flag, he's gone right there. Brian Daly, boy, just clips the nose on Mike Kelly to get in front of him. They go nose to tail in the turn number 1.
Mike Kelly all over the back of that 06 of Byron Daly, but Byron knew he had to get to the low line to be able to hold on to that second position. You don't want to be high here as before you're up to speed in turns 1 and 2.
No
Defensive
doubt
down
about
the back.
Yeah, well, my bad. Sorry about that, but no doubt about it there. You're right, Harris, because the thing about it, he had to have trust in his spotter to tell him he was clear. Caution.
Yeah, absolutely. It was the 10 truck, Kevin Pearson around. Wow, the 18. Paul Cooper just kind of turned down into him coming out of turn number 2. Right. Sent him to the infield.
Let's go back on replay here. Let the viewers see. Paul Nicholas Cooper. Yeah, he went 3 wide right there, and they bumped each other a little bit there going into the turn earlier on. And when they bumped, and then he came out of the turn, looked like he got a little tight. So, I don't know, there's contact between him and the 10, and round he goes.
Yeah, it looks like after the contact of from turn number 1 there, it looks like the 18 was trying to hold him low out of turn number 2, and he kind of held him low. I guess you could call it that.
Yeah, I mean, up here sometimes, who knows? Try not to speculate too much on it. You know,
that's true.
Racing, these guys' emotions run very high, and you know that. I know that. I don't know how much racing you've done on iRacing. Hey, when I get out here, you ought to hear me sometimes in team speak if I'm out racing. Yeah, I get just as angry as these guys do. But, you know, emotions run high sometimes and things happen. But a lot of times, sometimes, you know, racing incidents is what it is. I mean, it's just racing.
Yeah, it really is. And, you know, it's kind of like a lot of times people have two frames of mind that they put on. And it's kind of, okay, when I have to give room, here's my lane, here's how I'm going to run. And then there's that second part of you where it's like, okay, we're racing hard. So here's how I'm going to drive if I want to run someone tight. Now, running someone tight is 100% clean. You know, you can run somebody tight, it's fair game, and it's just kind of like naturally how the race progresses when you get to the end. And you know, sometimes things get misjudged, or you're not sure exactly where that other truck is going, and you know, it can easily make a bad situation look a lot worse.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And here's what I explain to people too, Harrison. And it's awesome to have drivers come up in the booth with me here, because the view that we see and how we perceive a race, as many a times after the race, drivers will ask, well, Joe, what'd you think about that race? I thought it was a great one. Joe, you're on crack. What's wrong with you? But from what we see and the viewers see, man, it's an exciting race, and it's awesome to watch. From a driver's standpoint, it can be the most frustrating day in the world.
Yeah, and like you, I've definitely done some iRacing myself, and I think it certainly has changed the way I watch things, where, you know, say you see a side-by-side at the high banked Bristol or something, and there's just a truck just using the high lane to hold everybody off, and the driver perspective in me kicks in, and I'm like, that guy, he's 4/10 faster. He's 4/10 faster. He can't make the pass.
Yeah, and I agree. You know, sometimes you have to kind of both, you know, different two sides of it. But it is interesting. And I've had drivers come up in the booth and they'll watch a race and they'll call a race with me. It's kind of interesting. And they'll get up here and they'll go, wow, I see what you see now, Joe. I mean, it's a whole different world, a whole different perspective of watching it. And the same thing in real life. You know, we watch on TV. I mean, I imagine if we was inside those cars, I mean, the amount of stress that they're under is just enormous. But, hey, it's exciting either way.
Yeah, that's exactly right. There's certainly a lot going on that, we don't even see. And it's just, it's certainly, they're running on adrenaline, that's for sure.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Well, as we're coming out, Derek out there, he's talking. We're coming out through the line here. It's going to be 34 to go. I think when the lights go off on the pace car, they come across to be 33 to go. Not a bad one. It's got to feel that we could go green flag all the way. But like I always say, Harrison, we're getting to that point now. Business is about to pick up. Run what you brung up front here. And Pedro Omega is the man in charge. He's got that 48 machine out front. Brian Daly right there. Mike Kelly sitting in third. Steve Minson has been up there all night long sitting in fourth. Chris Gaboo right there in fifth. Jose Gonzalez sixth. Jonathan Lockhart seventh. E.J. O'Rourke's moved it back up in the eighth. Chad Cole there in ninth. And Jonathan Cadell right there rounds out the top 10. Right there outside the top 10, though, in 11th. There's Michael Guest.
Yeah, Michael Guest, I'm very curious to see how those newer tires are going to work out. But I tell you, Pedro Omega, leading this race in the 48, he has to feel pretty confident because we saw him lead about a 35-lap run start to finish earlier in this race. And so as they come to green, they're going to have 32 laps to go, which is kind of right in that wheelhouse of where we saw him being fantastic earlier.
No doubt about it. Well, here we go. Pace car's coming out of turn 4 here. I'm about to let these guys do work for 33 more laps around this place at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Pedro Omega wastes no time. Brian Daly falls in the line. They come across the line here. Mike Kelly's going to go door to door with Steve Minson heading into 1. And behind him, Jose Gonzalez is going to try to keep it right there on the back deck lid of them. As up front, you still got Pedro Omega there. Chris Gaboo right there also in 6th. E.J. O'Rourke's moved it up into 7th. And behind them, they're 3 wide down the back stretch.
Oh, 3 wide with Jonathan Lockhart. Cadell all the way on the outside. George trying to make the bottom work, and the 5 truck does, but look at him sliding up. They're going to be 3 wide again, exiting, but Cadell has to get out of it after a little bit of contact with the number 6, and they were all trying to find some room after the 5 had slid up, and back to 2 wide there. George now working under the 6 of Lockhart. Brian Boris Cook works to the outside, though. That Jurassic Park machine trying to follow Lockhart through there.
No doubt about it. It was 3 wide. Had to think more about it. Got out of it right there. There's still 2 wide machine coming down the bad stretch there. Jonathan's looking on the outside. Bobby Wetzel right there on the inside. Haven't talked much about him. He's trying to crack the top 5. Brian Boris Cook, he's another one. They come across the line. Well, they know it's go time here. They come across the line. It's going to be 31 to go this time by. As you see Jonathan right there along with Thomas George. They're going neck and neck. Looks like the 9 and the Jonathan got together in the back.
Yeah, Cadell started turning into turn number 1. Bobby Wetzel doing a much later entry than was expected. They made a little contact, sent the 11 up the hill, but Cadell, great job keeping it off the wall, able to drive along, even though it's a loss of some time, loss of track position there. Now he's battling in a different pack.
No doubt about it. Still up front here, though. Jonathan Lockhart battling it out with Thomas George. Brian Boris Cook bringing it to the front. But up front here, though, we almost got a battle for the lead. Brian Daly's all over the back tailgate there of the Mega Machine of the 48 there. As he comes out of turn, almost took the wall down there. As they head off into turn 3, they are still nose to tail within inches coming out of 4. He's going to try to make the move.
Yeah, and we saw earlier Michael Guest kind of backed off the 48 as they were going through this run. This is a little different here. Byron Daly all over the back bumper is pretty much forcing Pedro to run a little bit harder than he may want to, or Pedro may be doing exactly as he wants to right here, allowing that 06 to be on him. But Byron, we saw a lot of speed earlier. We see a lot of speed now. Wasn't sure if that truck had it in it with a little bit of right side damage he has, but he's making it work. He's driving all over the back end of that 48 truck.
Yeah, it is. Man's focused out there, and he's definitely focused on the back end of Pedro as they come across the line. Will be 28 to go. That time by at Charlotte. Pedro gets about a half truck car length. They head off into 1. The 06, though, climbs on the back deck lid. Going in there, he gets a push going in. Just nowhere to go coming off, but he's right there. If Pedro makes a mistake, he'll definitely be on. He's looking on the inside, heading into 3. There goes side by side into 3. Can he hold it down?
Well, he's certainly trying. That 06 truck trying to work the bottom, but look at that high side run for the 48 Omega. Clears him and then some, puts about a truck length between the 2 right now, entering turn number 1, where you see Pedro again does this arc where he keeps it really high till the dead center of their corner, then drops it right down to that white line, and just trying to mimic exactly what he did earlier, and it really seems to be working for him, but he can't shake that 06 of Daly just yet.
No doubt about it. Coming into turn number 3, they still about a truck car length between the both of them, bringing Mike Kelly up there into the mix if they keep battling it out. The 06 probably going to definitely cool his tires down. Go behind him, though. Scott Menson's got his hands full with Jose Gonzalez. They're door to door right now. Guess who's coming in the mix, though? Man's moving it up there on the back tailgate of the 41 of E.J. O'Rourke. That's right, Michael Guest. He's going to have to use those new tires. Time's running out here with 26 to go.
Time really is running out. I think if he had to do, if he was going to do something with the lead in this one, I thought he would have to pass a few more cars early, but that could easily be proven wrong because certainly I don't even think he was up to 8th when it was lap 12 or so earlier. So he's got enough time. He's got the newer tires. Can he do something with it? As we saw him just go by the 41 of E.J. O'Rourke. Ahead of him now is Chad Colin, the diehard machine. It was in 6th right now, and in front of him, Jose Gonzalez and Stevie Vincent.
Yeah, it is right there. So he's got to deal with Chad Cole as he comes up. Chad Cole's looking on the back end to Jose Gonzalez. They come out of turn 4. They'll cross the line. Will be 24 to go. So, like we said, we're talking about Michael Guest. Got enough time. He's not that far back, and he definitely can do it. But he needs to start making waves now because here it's going to level off as the run goes on. Brian Daly up front, still about 2/10 off the back end of the 48 there. We'll see if he has anything for Pedro Mega. Mike Kelly still back there. As I look at the lap times, right now Pedro Mega is one of the fastest on the track along with Steve Minson.
Yeah, some great lap times up front. That time, Jose Gonzalez may be the fastest truck that lap in the top 10. But certainly some time between him and the leaders right now. But Byron, he drifted a little bit off of the leader there, just trying to work back to him. He's got time to work with here, more than 20 laps to go in this one. And he might be learning. He might be just readjusting what he's doing, trying to back off and keep his tires on and make a run a little bit later in this run, especially because it looks like, knock on wood, I don't think that caution is coming right now. We were able to kind of get some rhythm going.
Yeah, you're right. But actually, looks like we're about a pretty good green flag run there, kind of spread out. Every one of these guys up front here, all the way back to about 7th, 8th spot, they are so dead even. And when I say dead even, we're talking about Pedro Mega ran a 30.250. The guy behind it, every one of them is running 30.2s. So that's within hundredths of each other. So not much room there to make up ground on one another. We're not talking about tenths or anything here, Harrison. So when we talk about Michael Guest making moves, unless he starts making tenths and knocking them off, he's probably going to run out of time.
Yeah, and it speaks a lot for drivers who are able to play their cards right and put themselves in the right position and really just work the racecraft. Obviously, Michael Guest has shown a lot of racecraft, but, when the trucks are running so similar in times, he's rethinking the strategy right now, but it still might work out for him, especially if we were to see a caution. He still has a tire advantage of these guys, and it's something to remember.
Yeah, caution's probably what Pedro doesn't want to see. He's got a pretty good lead right now. Got a 2/10 right now, and if you look at Michael Guest, he's got a 1.5 second lead. Just enough to keep him out. And you talk about the top 7 or 8 guys right there. Again, there's only a half a second splitting them all.
Yeah, and it's just hard to get away from people if you're Pedro. It's hard to go somewhere if you're Michael Guest. Guest right now in 6th, but we do see him coming closer and closer. Now he's on the back bumper of Jose Gonzalez, and Gonzalez does a slide out of turn 2, heads to the low side. Guest will head to the high side, but Stevie Vincent kind of in defending his position to Gonzalez runs the high side, but that's directly in front of the 74 Guest. So these 3 trucks all on top of each other coming out of 4.
Yep, heading into 1 right there, door to door to 26 there. Jose on the inside, outside. That's Steve Minson right there. He's been running that high line pretty good, and Guest has went up there too to the high line along with him. See if he can't clear him here as they come out of turn 2 down the back stretch. If he can get a run going off down there, he might be able to clear him and scoop down on the inside there of Stevie and see if he can't get something done. They both are going to clear Jose going into turn number 4. Coming out of the turn, I think that tire advantage is starting to work for him a little bit.
And you can really see how much speed the 74 truck had on the backstretch compared to Jose Gonzalez, who was on the bottom having to lift a little bit more to just keep himself from sliding up. Now gets working the bottom underneath a Minson, and Minson gets really close to the outside wall, keeps off of it. They're even down the back straightaway, and this is a different test for Guest now, as he has to pass one of these trucks in the top 5 on the bottom. But we've seen that 74 truck just be phenomenal on the bottom of 3 and 4, and it shows right there. He clears the 96 seemingly easily, but believe me, it isn't easy.
Yep, cleared him coming out of 4, heading across the line, heading into turn number 1. The 96 right there. Steve Minson's going to try to see if he can't get back on the inside. Can't get it done. Up front, still Pedro Megas right there. It's still a 1.7 second lead right now. Definitely a caution, something that Pedro does not want to see, because that would bring the 74 right there on his back deck lid. Brian Daly's about a half second behind. Mike Kelly sitting right there in the 3rd place spot. Michael sitting in 4th. Stevie Minson right there in 5th. Jose Gonzalez 6th. Brian Boris Cook moving it up into 7th. E.J. O'Rourke right there in 8th. Chad Cole 9th. Thomas George rounds out the top 10.
Yeah, and Chris Caboo, we were talking earlier, kind of riding right around the top 10 for a lot of this one. He's on the back of Thomas George. Not able to get around him at this point, but pretty solid run for that channel lock machine. But I tell you, I just keep seeing trucks going higher and higher on the racetrack, and we heard from Cadell himself just how difficult it is to pass on the bottom.
Yep. Well, and I saw this. I was telling you, I did a race the other day, broadcast one here to Charlotte, and they're using the same exact line that I saw them use the other time, the middle to the high line. They kept climbing and climbing, and it worked for some reason. Kind of unusual, because when I used to run here, the low line actually was the better one. You would arc it in low, kind of stay low throughout the turn, let it drift up coming out. But here it seems like you can actually arc it in and stay towards the middle and the high. That's the best way to be. So definitely a different set. Maybe, like we said, the dynamic tracks definitely have changed things.
It certainly has, and it's one of those things that these drivers kind of get used to. Every build is change. It seems like every time something is tweaked with the physics or the tracks or a new addition to iRacing, it creates a different style that you have to run these things, or a different approach, and so it's a game of adjustment. It's kind of like showing up to Texas in the spring, then you come back in the fall, and you have a brand new weather, a different track. The surface has worn out more, and it's never the same each and every time. It's a different approach every time.
Yep. And I tell you what, Chad Cole trying to work over E.J. O'Rourke right there for the 8th and 9th spot, respectively. And in front of them, Brian Boris Cook, Jose Gonzalez, and Stevie Minson right there. They're all 3 in a line. Here comes the 20 or the 8 machine there. Chad Cole coming out of 4, coming across the line. It's going to be 10 to go. 11 to go. Next time around, it'll be 10 to go. 2 things you got to think about, Harrison. Last lap obviously ends at 5 laps to go. Caution comes out. That ends at Stevie Minson's in a wall.
Yeah, Minson's driving it as hard as he can, and he's got those guys all over him, that Jurassic Park machine right up to him. Jose Gonzalez feels like he can't get away from the bottom. He's constantly trying to get by some of these guys, but really close coming out of turn number 4. They avoid contact, but a nice run down the front stretch for that 26 truck. Jose trying to just keep himself in the top 5, currently shown in 5th that time by, but not quite clear of the 96. Looks like he's able to do it there. Will he slide up in front of him? Yes, he will.
Yeah, he slid up in front of him, and Stevie's around, tried to hold on to it, and he did for a second. No caution out right there. He's still trying to hold on to that thing like a bull, man, bucking around there. I'm going to tell you, we're going to go on a replay right there and show the viewers what happened. He came out of the turn. You were talking about it there. They were side by side battling it out, but he came out of the turn, and that thing just violently came around on him, and an awesome driving job by the 96. Jose Gonzalez was on the inside of him right here, and when he came around, he got another run. When he did, that rear end just came right out from under him. Lucky, man, almost took Brian Boris Cook out, but it was lucky that was not a huge wreck, and he was able to hold on to that thing. Wow, what a driving job.
That really is some brilliant driving, and oof. I mean, yeah, Brian Boris Cook, he clipped Cook, and I mean, great job saving that truck for Cook to not have anything worse happen there. But Minson was so far out of control that You know, he did the right thing of holding on to it rather than letting it spin out and get a caution. You know, he tried to save it, and he did. But now we have a caution out of turn number 2. A truck that just backed it on the inside wall. I think that was the 89 of Brian Wortman. I have to go back and see. Brian Wortman is around. Not sure how it happened, though.
All right, let me get on him and rewind it back here.
Brian Wortman was... Brian Wortman got spun around, but it was because he had to get out of the gas big time coming out of turn number 2. Wortman was in a side-by-side battle and got really tight and jumped out of the gas, and the guy behind him was coming up the track and didn't expect it. Kind of a chain reaction there. A lot of contact with Don Roberts and Brian Wortman and Glenn Campbell.
All right. Well, we get on the replay here so the viewers can see it. We'll be on the page with them. Oh, yeah. Wow. Yeah, that was a hard lick. The 89 just got right there, just got clipped a little bit. All the other trucks right there, just like we're just saying. So hard hit, man, coming out of the turn there.
Yeah, that was a big lift, big jump out of the gas pedal for that 89 truck, and things closed up fast for those that were around. And you know, we don't have that many laps to go, but we are going to go back green and finish this one out. And because of how old the tires are, everyone's coming down pit road. And by the way, Michael Guest out of pit road first. He actually missed his pit stall. I was gonna see if he got 2 tires. Michael Guest missed his pit stall. He might be forced to stay out here and try to do it on old tires now, but looking to see if anyone tries a 2-tire strategy. But with tires as bad as they were, I think everyone, or you know what, Byron Daly took 2, but I think everyone else would be on 4.
Yeah, well, and when we go back green flag racing, there's probably going to be about 3 to go. Not going to say it's going to hurt Michael that bad. Obviously, you definitely would want tires if you could get them at least 2 out there. Definitely help you out. Going to be interesting up front. He's going to control the field here. We've seen whoever's got up front and got out front there. It's been very hard for him to pass. We'll see if Brian Daly will be able to do anything here. Get Brian Boris cooked. Well, as we say that, Michael Guest is going to bring it down. I'm going to tell you what, Harrison, I think I'd have just took the chance and just stayed out.
Yeah, especially because we've seen a few moments of those instant cautions in this one, and you know, he's about to lose so much track position, and they're so close on time that, you know, I would have just taken my chances like he would have.
Yeah, hey, look, we're not driving the truck. Definitely don't make the call, but that call, yeah, I would have stayed, because now he's going to be way back in the pack there, and you might as well just go ahead and say it. Really no chance of pulling off a win here now, whereas before staying out, I mean, even if he wouldn't pull the win off, he probably still could have maybe got a top 5 out of it here.
Yeah, you know, or at least he would have had the chance to. You know, if he's going to finish in the top 5 in this one, there's going to need to be a pretty substantial wreck, which of course is always in the realm of possibility. It's motorsports, anything can happen, but ooh, it's going to be tough.
Well, he's sitting 24th right now. That's going to be a very, very hard one.
Yeah, you can't bet on a wreck that big happening. So it's definitely surprising. I guess he didn't have much faith at all in how this truck feels on old tires.
No, but I tell you what, right there, Pedro Mega, actually Brian Daly's going to be the one out front. Brian Boris Cook's going to be right there in second. Jose Gonzalez in third. E.J. O'Rourke. Pedro's going to have some work to do here on this restart. So we're going to see if he can't get through the pack here. I mean, even though he's starting in 5th, definitely going to be a tough one for him to get through the field.
Yeah, you know, I think Pedro did the 4-tire change, which is definitely what I would have done. Byron Daly took 2, if what's happened on pit road is showing here correctly. I think the top 4 are on a different strategy than Pedro here, taking fewer tires. And that 48's really been class of the field, so I'm very curious to see how this goes. And also, how are 2 tires going to feel? You have to think they probably left the fuel out of it to tighten it up, but that's going to be a handful for these guys in the top 4.
Absolutely, as we're getting set here to go back green flag racing. If anything, it could loosen that truck up, and that might be what he wants, loosen it up just enough, because, hey, when we go here across the line, it's going to be 3 to go. He only has to hold these guys off for a few laps here. And again, caution flies before we hit the white flag. Definitely over with. Pace cars in. And Brian Boris Cook jumped the start almost, so he's going to get checked up on the field there. That's going to let Brian Daly get jumped out there. That's going to hurt Pedro's Mega's effort to try to go.
Yeah, Cook tried to anticipate it. Didn't quite have it figured out. We have that caution instantly.
Oh, and boy, Brian Daly's going to benefit from it right there. Caution in the back. That's a big one, too.
Oh, and you know who's kicking themselves right now? Michael Guest. If only he had just kept himself out there.
And I'm thinking the same thing along with you. You know, you never want to question a guy when they're out here running. But, man, you got to question that call. Why? I mean, why? So let's go back here on the replay and watch the wreck as it happened. They went 3 wide back there. Joe Hudson and all them involved. Yep, Joe Hudson and him just got together. And, Jonathan Cadell tried to get out of the way. Couldn't get it done. Michael Guest right in the middle of it, too. Wow. See, he went from up in the front right in the middle. Could have been a lot worse than what it was, but that's going to put an end to it. Brian Daly's going to win this one under caution. And you're right, Harris. We can sit up here and talk all night long about it. Why? Because all Michael would have had to done was held off just like what Brian did right there.
Yeah, Byron Daly taking the 2 tires, putting himself out front. And I tell you, at least for 1 and 2, the truck was handling about as nicely as it could. Granted, they're running full throttle 1 and 2, getting up to speed, then 3 and 4. But I tell you, he only needed to hold him off for a couple laps. Daly had a great restart. It was looking great for that 06 truck. And I tell you, it was looking even better when that caution flag flew. That 06 truck, first win of the season for Byron Daly.
Wow, and definitely a turnaround for him here in this season. Not the season he's wanted so far. Got marred in traffic, a couple other races, and got caught up in some accidents there. I tell you, the one guy out there probably tonight is probably going to just beat himself on the steering wheel after this one's got to be Michael Guest, thinking, why in the world did I listen to my crewman? I just stayed out there and took my chances. But, hey, anyway, like I always say, shoulda, coulda, woulda. And it is what it is on it. But Brian Daly, 2-tire stop, paid off. Old Pedro Mega, he's going to come up in 5th. E.J. O'Rourke bounces back here to 4th place. Jose Gonzalez, though, wow, look at that. Man, comes up in 3rd. Had a good finish last week. And this week, another one. Brian Boris Cook's another one right there in 2nd spot. As they come across the line here, Harrison, they take the checkered flag. That man in the 06, you know he's going to be a happy camper out there.
Yeah, we saw Byron Daly racing for that win under green. Able to take it after a caution with a few to go. Gets out front, holds everybody off. Jurassic Park machine up to 2nd. I mean, that's a heck of a rebound compared to how the 63 was looking earlier in the race. And once he had track position, he showed that he had speed too. So great finish for the 2nd place man too. But Byron Daly, first win of the year. And I think he's happy with that one.
Oh, definitely. Win's a win, ever how you get it. And he's definitely going to be a happy camper along with that one. Let's see if we can't find him in the down here in the channel. I know Brian Boris Cook's in here somewhere, ain't he? I think so. You see him in here?
I think so. Looking for Brian right now. I think they'll join us here shortly, but
yeah.
Don't think they're around right now.
Snap, they'll jump up in here. If not, we'll yell at them.
That's
We'll
absolutely
wait
right.
here a few. We'll wait here a few here. Let's get the results here. Let everybody see. So Brian Daly, well, he pulls it off here. Masterful pit strategy there, pulling it off here. Brian Boris Cooks in 2nd. Jose Gonzalez right there. Good finish for him in 3rd. E.J. O'Rourke in 4th. Pedro Mega 5th. Braden Whitaker right there in 6th. Mike Kelly 7th. Bobby Wetzel 8th. Chad Cole 9th. Thomas Joel rounds out the top 10 here. So some guys bouncing back here tonight. It was an exciting race. I mean, Harrison, from the green flag to the checkered, wow, it was excitement through and through.
A lot of racing up front. I mean, how many times, multiple runs we saw just groups of trucks racing for the lead. And we kind of had an idea that it might be that way, but I tell you, I expected a little bit more distance between those leaders after a few laps than there often was. I mean, just to see like 4 trucks racing for the lead at the same time repeatedly, I mean, that's a show.
Absolutely. Well, you know what? Don't see them up here in the team speak. They've all got out of the servers, so guess this week we'll just say, hey, look, congratulations to Brian Daly for pulling off the win here tonight. Charlotte Motor Speedway here for the Sim500 Monday Night Money Winter Series. Well, as we say that, there he is. Good deal. Got here right in time. All right, our winner tonight jumped up in here. I don't see anybody else. You see anybody else there? There's Jose. There's a third place man. And there's Brian Boris. Let's bring up third place man, Jose. Let's get talking with him.
Jose Gonzalez, top 3 finish again. We spoke to you last week after a top 5, your comeback race, and I tell you followed that up with a 3rd place finish, and it has to feel pretty good right now.
Yeah, it feels great. It's the second week I race here in this series after the hurricane. You know, I'm doing the power generator, so I'm glad I didn't get any practice. So I'm glad I could stick it there at the end and just made the right calls. I took a little less fuel during the race because the car would get a little loose on the long run, so I never filled up the tank, and after 25 lap runs I was able to start passing cars, and there at the end I took 2 tires and I got lucky there.
How did it feel like the track changed throughout the race? Because it certainly looked like the groove moved around.
Yeah, it was tough. I mean, I was talking to different teammates, and they were all they didn't know what line to race. Some were racing the low line, the high line, the middle line. I had no idea where I was going.
Yeah, and certainly there were a lot of strategies going on. And when you took 2 tires at the end, were you confident in how the truck would feel, or was it a bit worrisome?
Yeah, I didn't take any fuel, so you know when you take 2 tires, the truck gets loose, but when you take off fuel, it kind of compensates. So, I mean, right there that lap we were still full throttle until the caution came in. So you know, I think it would have driven fine.
I'll tell you, Jose, we're glad you're here, but we wish you were under full power instead of generator. We hope things get rectified down there as soon as possible. But we appreciate you joining us. And do you have anyone you'd like to thank?
Yeah, maybe next week I can race with a little air conditioning, right?
That'd be nice. We hope
Yeah.
so.
All right, man. Have a good one, guys.
You too. Thanks for joining us.
All right.
All right, well, I'll tell you what, that's Jose Gonzalez right there. Man, I called him Speedy Gonzalez several times. Man, definitely. He said, hopefully next week you can have some air conditioning. That's got to be rough right there, Harrison. I tell you, wow. So awesome, man, to see him out here. Well, let's bring up our second place man, Brian Boris Cook. Let's get to talk with him.
Here we are with the Boris. Brian Boris Cook, second place finish tonight. I tell you, for that Jurassic Park machine was looking mighty nice on the track. And earlier in the race, had seen you working your way through the fields, and then when pit strategy, it seemed like when you got track position, you had the speed to stay there.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's hard to be disappointed. I started 25th, finished second, but man, I could taste it. So I'm pretty bummed out to not have won that one. But you know, we had about 2 or 3 lap better tires than some of those guys there at the end. And then when the caution came out, took 2, put me in position, and then Byron really got me on the restart there. He outdueled me there. So man, this came so close.
It's certainly a great finish. Nonetheless, certainly coming so close, kind of hard to take sometimes, but the track certainly changed a lot. And how did it feel to you? How did it change throughout the race?
It was wild. I mean, I definitely do feel like I had the speed when I was up there on equal tires. I got that track position, but you get in about 15 to 20 laps, and it would just start to kick sideways in the high line or anywhere really coming off the turn. Anytime you put the gas down, got to the point where I could only go about 90% gas once we were past about lap 22 or 3, and it was a ride. So it was a wild night, and you really had to conserve your tires early. I learned that quick.
And we heard Jose talking about limiting the amount of gas he would use to help it drive better. Did you tweak how much you would put into the tank at all?
Yeah, for sure. I stopped filling it up about just past that halfway caution. I didn't put any more in, and I saved fuel for a while there because I was nervous that I didn't have enough. But after that, I was trying to use up as much as possible. I found that the more fuel, the looser it got at the end. So new tires and less fuel was the sweet spot.
Well, I tell you what, a track that drives hard, to put on a show where you're up there racing for the win. It's a great podium to see that Jurassic Park truck up there. Do you have anyone you'd like to thank?
I just want to thank the whole league as a whole, and everybody who runs it. It's a lot of fun, and it's clean for the most part, and it's really enjoyable to be able to race around guys you can trust.
We thank you for joining us, and congrats again on a second place finish.
All right, thank you.
All right, well, tell you what, that's Brian Boris Cook right there, man. Is definitely a happy camper, pulling it off in second spot tonight. Well, Harrison, I'm going to head on down here to victory lane. Man made an awesome pit strategy move here with 2 tires, and it paid off here tonight. Brian Daly, is Joe out in the booth? You got a copy?
Yeah, I've got a copy.
Well, Brian, I tell you what, last pit stop there, you took 2 tires, came out front. The caution fell right when you needed it, but you had a bad, fast machine all night long. How was the track for you, and how was that truck all race?
The track was a lot of fun. The new dynamic track that Iracing's come out with has done a great job of moving the line around, and it's a lot of fun to race. I actually stuffed it in the wall like an idiot early in the race, and pretty much was down on a little bit end of straight speed compared to everybody else. So towards the end of the race there, I only had about 15-20 laps to really do anything, and the tires would go away because I have to drive it so hard to keep up. So that caution was perfect. That's what I needed to have a shot at it, and, well, we ended up in victory lane.
Absolutely. Well, hey, no better place than to be in victory lane, pulling it off here at Charlotte Motor Speedway for the Sim500 Monday Night Money Winter Series. And I tell you what, it was an awesome driving job out there. Now, earlier on in the race, when you were following along Pedro Mega, did you think you have anything for him earlier on?
If I didn't have any damage, I certainly felt like I could have taken the fight to him. But with the damage, I really needed only like 5 or 10 laps after a restart to have a chance of doing anything. After that, I would have needed a mistake out of him, and he ran a really good race. I didn't think that was going to happen. So,
oh, absolutely, definitely was awesome to see y'all out there battling out, and definitely a great pit strategy call there at the end by your crew. Well, you pulled it off here at Charlotte. You got anybody out there you want to thank?
no, just thanks to the guys at Sim500, you guys for broadcasting. It makes it more fun being able to go back and watch these things. So I just appreciate the opportunity.
No doubt about it. Well, definitely, there's your winner tonight here, folks. Brian Daly pulling it off in the 06 machine. He had focus on the side of it, and he was focused on one thing, winning. And he did. Put it in victory lane. Again, congratulations, Brian.
Thank you, Joe.
All right. Well, Harris, I tell you what, he definitely he was happy. He had a little bit of damage. He thought he might have had the truck earlier on. He didn't have that. But nonetheless, pit strategy pulled it off. Got any final thoughts for this race tonight?
Well, certainly didn't know what to expect earlier on, but to watch all the battling up front, just a lot of trucks who had a chance to win this race. Only one could, only one did, clearly. But great racing up front. Enjoyed watching all of it.
Absolutely, I did too here. Well, for Charlotte Motor Speedway, for myself here in OSRNetwork, Joe White, and Harrison up here in the booth, folks, it has been an awesome one here for the Sim500 Monday Night Money Winter Series here in the trucks. Tomorrow night, if you're going to tune in to OSRNetwork, we got Racing for a Cause there and the trucks there. Those guys go racing around. Till then, everyone have a good night.